Hello and welcome to another in the Player Profile series.
Welcome back, and thank you for watching and subscribing and commenting. Those comments go a long way to help us pick the next set of players. I'm going to throw a player at hour, giving him a tiny warning what's coming, but I didn't say who it was. It's going to be Damien Williams today. I know you're a bit of a fan of Damien Williams. His ADP is pretty reasonable at the moment in most drafts.
28.
28 is a good value. That's third round in the small leagues, 10 or 12 team leagues, and second round value for the big leagues at the end of the second for a 14-man, and obviously a few picks in generally for a large league. What's your thoughts on him for this season?
Well, they're good. I mean, look at the offense. I mean, could it be better? I mean, Kansas City with Mahomes, high-scoring offense.
No, they generally know how to run the ball. That's for sure.
I mean, look at the fantasy points he scored when he was in the playoffs. He put up like 30-point weeks.
Do you think his value is going to keep climbing? I think it will.
I don't see how it can't. He's only got to beat Carlos Hyde out. He's a journey. He's been on his third or fourth team in 2 years.
Yeah, something crazy.
He's past his best. Carlos Hyde's days are done. I mean,
you know what you're going to get with Carlos Hyde, don't you?
This is a first-round running back. No, make no mistake about it.
How high could he be? I mean, being honest, how high could he be? Could he be a top 7-8 back?
Yes.
He could be, couldn't he?
He could be a top 5 back.
What is the floor look like? Could it also be serious? Because he hasn't got a lot of games.
Now the downside of him is he's never done a full season. He's never been there, done it. He's never carried the load for a long time.
Does that worry you? Because it worries me quite a lot, if I'm honest.
Yes, it does. That is the worry. Because if it wasn't for that worry, he would be in the first round, I think.
Yeah.
Because, he's playing for Kansas City Chiefs. I mean,
he's proved last year in the small sample size he can do both roles. He can catch it.
The ceiling is stratospheric.
It really is. Yeah.
I mean, he could put up 300 points.
My thing with him, my worry is that his ADP is going to keep climbing. We're really referring to him here for redrafts, if I'm honest, irrespective of PPR or whatever. And I think his value will continue to climb over the next month. And I would be not surprised to see that closing in on about 20.
I mean, he's 28.
Yeah, I think that goes closer to 20, 19 before
this guy is a league winner if he plays all year. No doubt about it.
Will he climb up 6 to 8 spots in the next month?
Well, he's just dropped 6 spots, so maybe not. I don't see how he would.
I don't see how he can. I don't see how he can keep dropping. That doesn't make any sense. There's nothing coming out of camp about that.
I mean, the news on Tyreek Hill playing, obviously that helps him as well.
Yeah, exactly. So why should he be dropping in?
They can't load the box when you've got Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
So why would you think that his value's dropping in on Fantasy Pros, given the fact that Tyreek Hill, we don't know what the suspension is? Like we both said,
the worry is that he's never carried the load, and he's never had that number one job nailed down at any place for any length of time.
Here's a scenario that could play out in drafting. Okay, this is one that could play out. You've drafting in the middle of the draft. Okay, so it's a big league, 16-man league. You've got that difficult quandary because the top backs have all gone. Even maybe your sneaky target someone else has taken ahead of you that you're thinking that running back's going to be there. They're not. And you're looking at the wide receivers. You take one, and let's just say you've got DeAndre Hopkins, in your view, the best one that's there. You can argue who you pick, but let's just say it's a wide receiver. On the bounce back, this guy stands out to you as the best running back left on the board.
Yeah.
Do you take him?
Yes.
So there you go. That's from Al. He will definitely take him. I'm going to be honest as well. I'm going to say I'm swerving. I'm not taking him because I can't risk him at this point of a draft because I just won't go anywhere near him until I see more from him. It's like Josh Jacobs. I know what I'm giving up. I know that I could be looking back and thinking, what a mistake I've made. But
yeah, but Josh Jacobs plays for in all due respect to the Raiders, he plays for the Raiders. This guy plays for the best offensive football.
That's a valid point, yeah. I've got other targets, if I'm honest, that I kind of like as well as him, who I think can also do the same.
When Kareem Hunt went down last year, well, he didn't go down, when he got banned, Williams came in, and he did as good, if not better job than Hunt did.
That's a great point. Could we just do one thing? Could you just, around him, in his pick point on the draft ADP, name some of the other running backs close to him?
Fournette.
I'm certainly not touching him over
Marlon Mack.
No.
Aaron Jones. I mean, I like Aaron Jones.
I like Aaron Jones a lot, but it is very, very close because, as you say, that
and they're the closest ones to him.
Yeah.
Devonta Freeman's the next one.
No. So, okay, fair argument. The bottom line is, other than one or two players that you could argue here, the thing is, he does look screams of great value. And I suppose if you've already got you are swinging for the fences, and that's what fantasy is all about.
This is a league. You've got to win. You've got to beat 11 players or 15 players, whatever size your league is. These are the sort of players. This guy can put up round 1 points. A bit like getting Tyreek Hill in the fourth. If he misses 1 or 2 games, if you can manage that in your team, and then you've got him for the playoffs. You've got another first round pick.
Is there? See, for me, my only major concern of him is game size. He hasn't done enough of it, and that is what massively worries me about that pick, because the last thing I want to do is bust my second round pick quickly, and it ends up
it's
that you just
tougher,
can't
it's tougher
carry
to
that
do
load.
in a large league, admittedly.
You know, I mean, in a smaller league, I don't actually have much of a problem with his picking point, because I think you could say he could well be my second back or my first running back, but you know, I've already got two good wide receivers ahead of him, if you like. So I don't really mind the value there. But in a large league, if I get this wrong, I'm in a little bit of trouble. That worries me.
The thing is, this guy puts up prolific points.
Yeah.
You don't get too many of them in the third round.
No, you don't. No, that's very
that
true.
sort of ceiling
Yeah.
where they can put up these prolific points. And of course, it's a gamble. It is. That's why he's in the third round, not the first, because we don't know if he can do it.
All right, one more question then, because you've answered it very well. Personally, I'm not going to touch him at the ADP. I just can't. I think it's going to climb actually before we get to drafting, so that's another concern. If it did climb, let's say it climbed another 6-8 spots, would you still pick him then? Would you still be comfortable picking him if he moved another
Depends
6
who
or 8
else
up?
is available.
Because I mean, if you moved him up 6 or 8, let's say you moved up half a round, so let's say it was 6 spots.
Would I take him or Marlon Mack? I'd take him.
You would take him?
Yeah.
Is there anybody at 6 spots up that you would take, even if it's a wide receiver over him?
Antonio Brown, possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
You've highlighted that.
Yeah, that's a fair
Derek
one.
Carr could not pick out Amari Cooper.
It's different with Brown. That for a number.
It was
of
almost
reasons.
like a Where's Wally picture. He couldn't find, and he's wearing like Stevie Wonder glasses.
It's a little different with Brown because of his just his physicality and the way that he plays. It's a little different. Cooper needs a little something else.
It might be a little bit different. We don't know yet.
Well, we don't, but I much prefer that situation. Anyway, if you haven't seen that video, go back and have a look at that one. But yeah, I get your argument. I'm a little bit more cautious because in those big leagues, which we're talking about with this video, I would 100% swerve.
If you need a running back in the third round, then I'd take him over Fournette. I'd take him over Mack.
Well, that's different because you're highlighting your smaller league, and that's okay. I don't mind in that third round.
Regardless of the league side, if I needed a running back,
yeah,
I've got to take who I think is going to give me the biggest upside. I'm a gambler. I'm going to go for the big upside.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because you got to shoot from the start, shoot for the stars in fantasy.
I agree with that, but I want to
shoot an average team that comes fourth.
Well, I think I've got players that can do. I believe I've got players that are much safer that can do that. I've already highlighted one previously. I mean, we talked about Mark Ingram. We've talked about Aaron Jones. I mean, I'm highlighting a couple of players for you that I think can do this, can shoot for that top 5 to 7 spot, and I haven't got a risk anywhere near that risk to do it. That's what worries me with him.
I like both of those as well.
You know, but that guy does worry me a little bit. But you are right; it is a swing for the fences, and you've got to do that in fantasy somewhere. But I'll take my risks slightly elsewhere in the big leagues. In the smaller ones, third round, yes, I'll have a piece.
Leonard Fournette.
They're swinging for the fences. They're swinging for the hospital bench. I'm not
for the net.
I'm not going for him. I'm not going for him.
Really?
I'm not touching Fournette. No.
You are right. Everyone leave him for Sean.
Well, they already know.
Well, you know, if Sean's picking on the end of a draft, and you don't want to take Fournette,
It's such an easy. It's a brilliant thing when you come to drafting. It's really clear. It's never have a player that you're not sure of. I think this is a great tip. Really, I'm very, very clear on what I want to do and what I don't want to do, because when it comes to drafting, I feel if I'm confident, that helps me through the season, and if I'm unconfident, I don't touch them. And,
let's just say you're pick 7.
Pick 7, yeah.
I'll be
totally honest. Here we are. I've got my little Bible. Pick 7, yeah, go ahead. I'll tell you who I picked.
The top 4 obvious running backs have gone.
Yeah,
Melvin Gordon's gone.
Yeah.
David Johnson's gone. Let's say 8. Say Hopkins has gone, so you're at pick 8.
Yeah. I'll take Devontae Adams at that point.
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, pick 8.
He's your safest bet.
Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah. The reason being that he'll give me about 1,300 yards. He'll give me 10 to 12 touchdowns. That's a pretty safe floor. You're looking at about 190 to 200 fantasy points with a sprinkler of running game in there, which you'll get. And he could have more than that. It's possible he could get 15 touchdowns. It's very possible. He could do more than 1,300. So I kind of feel you're safe with your floor, and you're very, there's more of an upside. Now, people might argue, but the running backs are going to give you more points. The top 4 or 5, yes. But then when you go into that next section of running backs and wide receivers, it's very, very close. And he's in that section. So when you go back and look the year later and look at the numbers, it is 10 or 12 points in it one way or the other.
He's gone then. Who did you take at 9?
9 gets more cosy and a
Well,
little bit
that's
more
what I'm
tricky. I'll give you that. Yeah, okay. Look at this. He's going from my book here. Look, I like this. This is good.
Probably
It's
free
just wants
information.
free information. Why not? Let's give it to
Because
you.
people, you're going to be faced with this sort of dilemma all year. So
Okay,
let's
so
see what
the
Shawman
top 4 backs have gone. You're saying who else has gone then? You have to be crystal clear on who's gone. So the top 4 backs have gone. We're talking Melvin Gordon's gone. We're talking David Johnson's gone. We're talking DeAndre Hopkins gone. And we're talking Devontae Adams has gone. That's the 8 players that's gone. Who do I take next? Out of those guys, I would then look at the next best player on my list. So it would be effervescent Julio Jones. I'd take you, thanks.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's who I'd have. Purely because I know what I'm going to get with him. I know what I want to do with him.
Get a lot of yards.
And I know what I'm likely to get. What I saw last year was what I expected, which is interesting as an analyst. So I could see that he was missing halfway through the season. The touchdown numbers were there 6 to 8 is normally what he gets. He didn't have the touchdowns. They came in the second half of the season. He's pretty solid for 6 to 8 touchdowns every single year. He regularly gets you 1,400 plus yards. They're playing in a dome 13 times out of 16 games. Frankly,
Matty always loves.
Frankly,
Loves
with a
the dome.
player that hasn't got to worry about the conditions, that can affect you when you're a little bit older because, you know, playing outside, you know, no disrespect to anybody, but when you're hitting the floor on a cold day, it feels it's like concrete. You haven't got to worry about those kind of things. The way that they build these stadiums, the kind of cushioning that they have on these surfaces is just like playing on grass. He's going to thrive on that, and he's used to cutting in it. One of the best in the league at it. So for me, he's very.
Is there
easy.
any way you take Damien Williams?
Not really. I can't see any way to it. He's on my list of players to just not bother to touch. And I'm very clear on this because the thing I've learned, the strength that I have, is if I'm not confident around a player, there's no point taking him. There's no point getting upset about it because the one thing that really hurts you is. I don't mind looking back and saying, oh, okay, I got it wrong with him. The worst thing you could do is have him on your team after you thought to yourself, I don't want him.
I knew it.
I knew it, and I shouldn't have. Why did I do that? And I've done that before. We've all done it as players. You know, for some reason you pick a player, and then you
get roped
that.
in with other people.
You regret it because you think, oh, ADP or no. I'm a great believer. You build a draft board that's your draft board. You evaluate those players. You do it round by round. You look at where the advantages lie. Treat like Al's a great gambler. So you look at the ADPs. You look at who's drafting with you, and you think to yourself, what will they do? So what is the likelihood? How many of those players are going to come off the board? What is the likelihood? So you know when you come to drafting, you can pick the players that you absolutely want. We probably have to save this for another video.
And it's the best way to learn as well, isn't
yeah.
it?
And then when you come to drafting, the one thing I love, and it's the thing I'm most happiest about, if I'm honest as a drafter, the thing I've learnt myself is I'm never upset by the teams I draft that I completely want. I've never come away at the end of a year and going, oh God, that was awful. No, I often come away thinking, oh, great season, well done. Enjoyed that. Even if you didn't win it, at least you had a great ride. And, you know, everybody looks back and think, oh, good scoring team there, well done. That's all we can do. I mean, that's what fantasy is all about, is having a good team. You'd love to win them, of course, but so does everybody else. And that's the issue. You can't always mitigate.
You can't
mistakes.
draft everyone, can you?
But the one thing I don't want is that one thing where you really didn't want the player and you talk yourself into it and then they end up doing exactly what you thought they were going to do.
That
which
is what I want
bust.
for you.
So, no.
I want you having these.
So you got a couple of insights into who kind of players I like. Not everybody will do that. I mean, Julio Jones ADP is certainly not 9 or it's 11. Okay, it's a couple of spots out, but he's my safety valve there if I want to play there. But I've got players throughout all the rounds that I like, and I can say this as well. I can say this for the video. My board is different to everybody else's. I'm not frightened to take a player if I feel they're worth their round.
That is certainly true.
You know, if they're worth their round, I'll take them because I want that player on my team. So there's a few players I like, I'll take them. You know, if I think they're worth their ADP, I'll take it. So there are.
Well, Damien Williams has split us because I'm
very against him. Yeah, I mean, there'll be a lot of people who love him, and I totally get that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Kansas, as you highlighted, great offense, great opportunity to score well. Totally get it. Sky's the limit. Could finish inside the top 5. Absolutely. Every year you look at the top.
There's no one better there to take his job, is there?
Well, we don't know. Really, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
We've seen enough of Carlos Hyde to know he's a duffer.
We don't know what's going to happen as the season unfolds with him. We assume that
Williams. He's not going to.
We assume that he's got the starting role. I'd just like to remind people
He has got the starting role. They said that.
In Kansas, particularly in Kansas, running back injuries happen. We have seen some changes of players over there in Kansas. The weather, the conditions, everything can change things. This is an older running back. He's never carried the load. You just have to be a little bit wary. I am certain you're right. The first 4 weeks is going to look like a genius move, but let's see how it
then
unfolds.
you can trade him for someone really good.
That would be good if you can get it just right.
If you're worried about that.
But if he's playing elite,
weeks,
elite, then no one's going to cash in probably. But that I understand. But I'm much
That's
happier.
not a bad plan. What, you have 3 or 4 really good weeks and then cash him in?
I believe I've got running backs that I can target there that will be fighting for those top spots, even if he is. So I'm quietly confident there are running backs that are there this year that were not there a couple of years ago, but we can get.
Yeah, no, I know they are, and I quite like them as well. But okay, so what do you think? Are you with me? Are you a believer? Are you a truther?
Maybe you're a Damien Williams. You're a Williams truther, that's fine.
Or are you a lily-livered Sean?
Maybe you don't want to ever touch these kind of players because they spoil your year. That's fine as well. But you probably will side with Al, and I get that because it makes perfect sense. It's Kansas.
I don't think so. I think he will split a pin.
He does.
Even in the back of my mind, I know he's a risk. But then everyone's a risk.
Oh, everything can change.
But not everyone's got his upside, I think.
No, I don't think everybody has. But I think there are running backs in that round that do, and I'm quietly confident to match. They can match horns with him, and we'll see how it plays out.
Particularly, I'll tell you where I'm going to target him.
Go on.
We play in a 16-man league in Southampton.
Interesting.
2 Kansas City fans.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right. I mean,
they're going to be.
If you own him, you've got trading partners straight away, haven't you? That's a very good point. Yeah. So know your
two homers in the league for a start.
So know your audience. I think what we will do actually is because this video is highlighting some interesting things. So we'll come back and watch us on a video that will talk about some insights into redraft leagues. That would be quite good to have.
Yeah, we can do that later in the year.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Well, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Damien Williams, you all in or you all out like Sean?
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay, if you've enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up and thanks for watching.